Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very cool unboxing, something that came in through the Apex group, but it came in from a particular designer that's making knives right now, and kind of excited to get into this one. This one's just really cool. The knife that we're looking at, I believe it's, well, the designer or the people who are making it is Legion Steel. So let's just take a look at this. Let's get into it, okay? Today I'm opening up with my Pena X Series Alacran. This is a Javi Garcia and Enrique Pena design, a collab that they did together. There are some of these available right now. Matter of fact, they just dropped some. So if you're interested in checking these out, definitely a knife worth checking out. It's really good. I enjoyed a lot. Just trying to get in here. I don't want to show any of the personal information on there, so. All right, so here we go. All right, there's the case. Let's see what we got, a little information. All right, so thank you for the reviews. Please check your email for, all right, for full information. Yeah, all right. Okay, you emailed with the full specs, all that stuff. Cool. All right, very good. Yeah, and I also know that this is a prototype, and so they are coming in. There are going to be some updates and some changes to it, and I think I want to get that out before we even get that out so I can talk to it as soon as we begin. So let me go ahead and get that handy real quick. I am going to find that super fast. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted just to real quick. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted to real quick find the information about some of the changes. And I want to talk about it once we open this up, because this is very cool. This is one of those knives, you know, sometimes you get a knife and you look at the pre-order and you think, yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, that'll be interesting. And you think, well, that one will be kind of cool. I might like it. And then you go, yeah, I think I really would like it. And then you go, oh. And I mean, I felt like that about the Alacran. Since I saw that, I thought, oh yeah. Well, I kind of feel like that about this one. So let's take a look. I'm super excited. Oh, this is going to be air seal, so I got to break that. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we go. Nice case, by the way. Keep it really nice and safe. Oh, yeah. Okay, the finishes are nice. I can already feel that. All right. This is definitely, this is the Asgeir, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. All right, so the inlays are really nice. That's cool. Very flush mounted. Now this is a prototype, okay? So there are some changes on it, and prototypes are just kind of get a feel for shapes and dimensions, and so you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? It's not the actual finished knife itself, so just keep that in mind, and I'm keeping that in mind. So this is a kind of a review, an unboxing, first impressions of a prototype. So always take it with a grain of salt, and I would really, you know, wouldn't really be able to fully figure that out until we get the final product. So I just want to be real clear about that so that you understand my perspective and why I may not be as critical in some things and understanding in other things, and may not talk about some things. So, but first impression, off the top of it feels great. Everything is rounded. Everything's nicely chamfered. I love the shape of the design. I love the carbon fiber. This just reminds me of like what I see in Sharper by Design, like Riot quality carbon fiber. I like the anodized, okay, and you can definitely tell this is a prototype because you can see some of the things are very much prototype type of designs and colors. So just understand that that's the case, but still, Really cool. All right, so here comes a moment of truth. This miniature flipper was supposed to work super well. Let's see what happens. Okay, that is neat. That is neat. All right, so here's the lock bar. We've got the jimping up here, deep pocket carry clips, got some nice flexibility. Definitely it's got a nice ramp. You're going to be able to go over and over the jeans and come out, so that's really cool. I like the fact they thinned this out, so it definitely has some flexibility. It is right hand tip up only. It is a hidden screw, which means the screws are inside. There's some milling in there, not a whole lot, but you're also milling because of the carbon fiber inlays, all right? You've got a pivot collar on here, anodized blue screw, and you can see, so just so you know, for everybody's sake, when you have a prototype, you see things like the screws being screwed in and out, things what they're putting things together. Sometimes these are component things that they're working on. This is all, I'm okay with all of that, all right? And that's just the way prototypes work. So this is a CPM 20 CV blade steel. This is a beautiful stone wash finish. Now this is a very unique blade. It is like almost a spear point, Warncliffe, reverse Tonto sheep's foot. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's cool. It's like it's got the pokiness of a sheep's foot. You know, I mean, the pokiness of like a dagger, or not a dagger, but maybe a drop point or something, but still has kind of a sheep's foot kind of finish to it, which makes it very, very unique. It's got a swedge on top, which is going to allow for a lot of nice cutting. You have a nice cutaway, beautiful chamfering here, which means easy access. So let's feel that. Yeah, definitely. A nice drop. Okay. So, all right, there we go. Nice drop there, dead center. I mean, it's a prototype, so you know you can always deal with that. Now, one of the things they did say is they're going to go ahead and enlarge the sharpening choil, so this is going to be larger already. Keep that in mind. The narrowing of the lock bar is pretty wide. They're going to thin that out a little bit, which means that it's not going to be as hard to push back, because it is a pretty strong right now, but it is a pretty thick lock bar. So that means it's going to thin out. And it looks like they're going to take probably, I'm going to say about 20% of it off. That will definitely help significantly, and I think that'll be really, really cool. They're also going to remove the point on the handle frame. So there's these points on the handle frame right here, this little clip right here. They're going to remove that, which I can feel already, and that would be the first thing I would notice. So they already know about that. That's excellent. I like that already. They talked about this right here. They're going to lengthen the flipper tab. So this part is going to come down and be flush with the flipper tab itself here. So that's good. I like that. That's really, really cool. All right, very good. So those are some of the things that I think will make the disengagement of the lock bar a little easier right here when I do that. Okay, and now we have jimping here. Okay, so you can do a push button. All right, you can do a push button jimping here. Now the only thing I might suggest, if they're still open to anything, is add a little jimping all the way up. Make sure it goes all the way around, because I know the jimping's here, and I think they're going for a push button sort of thing, but I can't really, you know, you can do a push button right here, but it'd be nice to have a little jimping just for a little traction, because it's slippery up here, right? So if you can get that, that would allow just a little nicer deployment. I think you're feeling that. Now, because this lock bar is really long, I do have a tendency to put my finger on there, so I can see why they want to shorten that, because then that does lock it up. And that's brilliant. That's really a good idea. So I like that. I like that. And it also will help alleviate this lock bar being so tight, because it's really strong, right? It's really strong to come past. Now the detent ball, you're clear right there, then you all the way down. Now that means that I'm going to be, okay, so I have to have my finger, all right, so because it's such a strong detent, or the lock bar is so strong, it's almost hard to clear that. And if I clear it all the way, it's going to come down on my finger. So yeah, that will help. That will absolutely help, I think, there. Very smooth. I like that. I like that a lot. I like and I got to watch for this, because this is definitely going to help. I really want to put my finger right there, and I get in the way of the lock bar and make it resist deploying, right? So as long as my finger is up where, so that's about where they're going to be shortening to right where my finger wants to naturally lay. And right there, I'm pushing on there, and it causes it to not deploy as nicely. If I hold it up where here, it works really nicely. But I will say, a little bit of jimping, if you could just wrap that around, just get a little texture up here. I get what this is. They're going for like this, every time I do that. And see, that's the thing, it's kind of a struggle, because if my finger's here and I'm pushing here, it's resisting enough that I'm going to slide past that. But if my finger's high enough, then I can make that work, but I've got to make sure that I've got some traction right here. And I think for me, it definitely needs to have a little jimping here so that this part works pretty nicely. This detent is really solid. Now, there's no blade rock. It's in there really well. Let's feel the detent. It clicks in really well. No detent lash. It's in there really, really solid. That's nice. We do have an a steel bar insert over travel stop, so that looks really nice. It's a nice straight flat grind with the swedge, like I already noted. I like the stonewash finish. That allows for use without worrying about it. It's got a nice strong tip there, even with the swedge on top, so it allows you to have some substance where it's not super thin, but it's thin enough to cut through boxes and mulch, fertilizer, dog food, cat food, whatever you want. So that's really nice. Yeah, and I think with the thinner bar, it's going to be less detent, so that'll be good. That'll be good. It is nice and rounded all the way down here, so that's cool. I like the idea of this very hidden flipper. This reminds me a lot of like a sheer Gorov, and it's above. Here's the level of the pivot where the center of axis is for the pivot, and this is above, so that gives you that leverage, and that's what allows it to definitely deploy. And if I can make sure my fingers are clear, you can get a nice, firm, snappy detent. And that's really, really good. I like that. Yeah. So I think with the changes that they're doing, that will be nice. Now, one of the other things I might suggest is maybe round this off a little bit or chamfer these corners, if they could. This is beautifully chamfered, beautifully rounded back here. I like that. Beautifully chamfered here, nice and rounded here, even on this corner, which could be very sharp and pokey. It's nice and rounded. This is nice and rounded. I would maybe round, just that tip is a little sharp, a little pokey. Maybe round that. See, this is fine over here, but this is just a little pokey. So maybe round that. Maybe these edges I would consider just a little softening right here. Maybe a gentle chamfer. A very minuscule chamfering, just enough so that the edge is not as sharp, because you can feel that. And when I'm going in here to push on this detent bar, I can definitely feel that edge. It's pretty sharp right there. So that would be nice to have that a little softened. I think that would be cool. Getting past that detent ball, I got to get all the way down here, and my finger being big meaty fingers, if the detent's a little high, you got to be down here. It would be nice for, would it be? Trying to figure out where we're going to go. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice just to have that rounded just a little bit all the way across. That would help. The jimping on there would help, and I think he's already taken care of that. So that's my only recommendation. But I love the feel of it. I love the look of it. This is such a unique blade shape. I don't think I've ever seen a Wharncliffe modified sheep's foot, whatever you want to call this. Probably more of a sheep's foot with the curve, right? So it's maybe a modified sheep's foot, I guess you could call it. But I like the blade shape. I really do. I think it's very unique. I like the design of the knife. I like the flow of the knife. I like, it feels like it'd be nice and comfortable. Definitely going to take care of that because I can dig into your hand right there. But again, those edges right there would make this a little more comfortable in hand because the sharp corner is going to dig into you. So if there's a chance any of that could be adjusted still, that would be cool. You can choke up here for sure. There's a little jimping here, no jimping up on top. I don't know if that's intentional, but if they could extend that just maybe a little bit for a push cut, that would be nice. It is clear of any thumb studs, so it's going to be a nice cut. You can pull cut, you can push cut if you're going through some heavy cardboard, what have you. I like the weight of it. It definitely feels, let's see here, where's the center? So the center is about right there. you know, this will be a little heavier. So if you could mill, well, no, I don't know if you can mill that out. No, maybe not. It's a big back spacer. That is certainly it's got some weight to it, and it's a thick back spacer. I don't know if that's worth maybe considering if that could be made a little thinner. I don't know if that's worth, if that's something they could do, but maybe to reduce a little weight, that would be cool, I think. Now, it looks like it's not a captive pivot. Is it a captive pivot? Did it say? What else did they say? Yeah, I don't know if it said anything about the captive pivot, but I would say, I know on the website, if I look, and I'm trying to look as I'm looking at this knife here, right? If I look at the website and I see some of the details, excuse me, pivot, stainless steel, pivot collar. Yeah, I don't see anything that says it's a captive pivot, but I wonder if it is. I don't know if it is. That would be something worth considering. I'm not, it's always nice to have a captive pivot, right? I can't take this apart. This is a prototype. It's not my knife. I'm just getting a chance to try it out. But I think a captive pivot would be kind of cool if you could consider it. Even if it has 2 screws, you could maybe get a D shape in there. That would be kind of nice. I like the thin blade shape. That's really cool. I like the rounded on the back. That's really nice. So I think it definitely has a lot of cool potential. I like the things that they're already going to fix on there. I definitely think those are really, really key points. And they're definitely going to be big helps, especially on the lock bar. I think that's going to make a tremendous difference. That might make the difference in some of the other things that I'm struggling with, right? So if you can fix some of those, that would be great. Now, it is rounded back here, but I will tell you, this is a little sharp here and a little sharp here. So I don't know if that could be rounded, because I can feel it when I'm having it in here. It's definitely catching on my hand right there. And I do like to fidget with my knives. And it would be nice to be able to fidget past that. And I just got to be real careful with any weight on that. So if there's no weight on the lock bar, this deploys really nicely, right? It does work. But if there's any weight, I slide right off because there's no jimping. I don't have any traction. So that would be my only suggestion. But otherwise, I like the shape. It's very unique. I really dig that. I really, really dig that. I think that's just such a refreshing kind of looking knife, for me at least. And maybe you guys have seen this knife before, and this is a shape you're familiar with, but for me it's new. This is something I'm not familiar with. I think it's just really, really cool. And it's so thin that it's got a nice slicey, nice, feels like a very thin slicey edge, right? It's not feels super, super thick. We'll do the full, review, if you will, or impressions of the prototype. It's not really truly fair to call it a full review, but we'll do a more in-depth impressions after I've had a chance to handle it for a little bit. But yeah, I think that's really cool. I like the swedge. I just like how that swedge goes all the way around like that. That's just kind of cool. Still be a pokey tip. Yeah, that's neat. I dig that. And you can definitely choke up with the jimping there, so that works. So you can definitely get a push cut, and you have plenty of room here for I have large hands, and so I have room here, and I think extra large would definitely they might be a little over, and if you choke up, you can definitely do double extra large. Whew, sorry. Yeah, if that could come up and round a little bit more, that would definitely help. Now, I do know, yeah. So this is the tang of the blade. So I don't know if they feel like they can't get close to it, but it would be nice to be able to have a little bit of jimping that goes all the way up there. Now, if you do that, it might be worthwhile just coming out just maybe a few millimeters and a little more jimping, because when you come down here, see, my hand goes on there, you could come out just a little bit further, and that might give you a little more roundedness here. I know they're probably going for a flatness there, and I get that, but yeah. Boy, that is a strong lock bar. That's a really strong lock bar. And that has a lot to do with how wide that is. I'm glad that's being thinned out, but yeah. If this was my knife, and let's say this was a production run, I would absolutely tune that detent. I would be bending that out, taking off the over travel stop. Now, these look like T6s and T8s. Let's just double check that. Where are my screws? Here, 1 second. All right, I'm having to use a different microphone because my battery died on the other one. Yeah, so that feels like T6. T6 there. All right, let's see what the pivot is. Is it T8? Yeah, it's a T8 on both sides. All right, so there you go. I will say, as with any knife, I wish it was all T8s all the way around. I don't see any notes on this being T8s at this point, so that would be my recommendation. Yeah, they really need jimping, because if I touch that at all, it fails, and that would be very frustrating for me. And you know, even if my hand's up a little higher like that, that really would be, it'd be frustrating because it's such a cool knife, right? And I would hate for that to be a distraction. So a little bit of jimping there would be nice, and definitely a little, not a strongly tuned lock bar. I know some people really like that, and that's great, but not quite my cup of tea, especially with a very minor flipper like that. And you already got some good leverage there, and you know, if you can get a little jimping, you can even get better leverage, I think. So yeah, that's my overall impressions. I think it's an interesting knife. Definitely a really cool prototype to check out. I love the new design, the new shape of it. I think it has some really, really cool potential. I'm glad some of the things that they're already fixing, that's great. A couple of things I might recommend, you know, they can take it with a grain of salt. They may like it, they may not. Just my thoughts on there. If they still can have a little say in there, just soften that up. I think it would go a long way, for sure. You know, I think that would be great if you can put a little jimping right there, a little extra, you know, make, you know, you're already serrating it right there. And I'm not really sure, people are going to say, well, what's that really going to buy you? You know, because all your pressure is going right here anyways. And if this jimping doesn't come all the way up, at least to the very top here, it's almost going to feel like it was missed, right? So hopefully they'll consider that. And see, there you go. I touched it and I can't break it because my finger wants to slide off when I'm touching that. So there we go. That is my first impression, first experience with this knife. I like the design. I like the look. I think the blade shape is really cool. I think that's just nifty. It's nice. I like the inlays here. This inlay is really nice. This inlay is really nice. Now this inlay is sticking up a bit and it's out, but you know, it's a prototype, so I'm okay with that. Prototypes aren't always perfect. These inlays are much better done. But this one's sticking out. It's almost like, I don't know if it's an afterthought. It was just, you know, they were trying to get the look of the inlays. It wasn't quite flattened yet. So I'm going to assume this is a prototype sort of thing, and I'm totally cool with that, because I would very much like to get a look at the final product and to get that feel for it. So yeah, very cool, especially if you like this blade shape and you like a very hidden flipper. I think you're going to really, really dig that. Now it is a flipper only. I don't see any other multiple deployments here. So if you're not a flipper only kind of person, keep that in mind. But if you can do the flipper well, reminds me of like the Shirogorov, I think it will be outstanding at the jimping. Make that lock bar a little less strong. You know, I know you're going to make it thinner, but make sure it's thinner enough that fingers don't push in on the lock bar and then it becomes impossible to deploy. Yeah, and I would like for that detent ball to clear a little easier with my finger here. I don't know. It'd be nice if this was... That came out just a millimeter or so, or two. I don't know. Just my thoughts, my first impression. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to share my thoughts. I dig the aesthetics of it, and you know I'm going to dig the aesthetics because I have knives that have a very similar look, that have this type, that have carbon fiber, has some blue anodization. I do like that look in a knife. I think it's just pretty cool. So there we go. It does look like they have several different designs. If I look at their website, and they are open for pre-order, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. You can do a full pre-order, or you can do the reservation on it, and they have what's like the silver, and then they have a blacked out version, which looks really, really cool. I think that's kind of nifty. I do like the idea of the blacked out version. I think that would be, oh, excuse me, it's kind of late. Oh, would be kind of nifty. Minimal design and, you know, signage, if you will, on the blade. I like that. Very small logo. That's cool. And then the logo over here, and I'm not sure what that is. Is that just a part number? I'm guessing. I mean, I see the CPM 20CV there. That's cool. But very cool. All right. So that's the knife. And you can see that it's definitely, if you had a little better tuned detent, it would be able to get in there. Yeah. So very, very interesting. All right. That is the Asgeir Svarter. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but it's the Asgeir. It almost sounds like it's like the Asgard, like it's Danish or something. So this is the Asgeir, and I like that. I like that. So Svarter, I don't know if that's like soot in Danish, which means black, but Asgeir would be, sounds almost, I don't know if that's, is that Icelandic or something? But anyways, all right, very cool. That's my thoughts. A lot of thoughts on a knife. I want to be honest and things that I think could make this knife just blow up and be amazing. And I think that if those couple things are done, I think this knife, just along with whatever they're already doing, yeah, this could be something. All right, so that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think below, down below. I do try to read all the comments. I enjoy the comments. I enjoy interacting and talking to folks. I do appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts and commenting down below. If you have any questions about the knife and the review that's coming up, any questions about the channel or recommendations for future Rob's Rambling, please let me know. I very much do appreciate it, and I do try to reply and respond to those comments. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? If you've already hit the like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel. It allows me to grow, to produce more content, do more things, ultimately more things for you guys. Thank you very, very much. If you've done all that, maybe hit the notification button so you can be notified of future content when it's released or dropped. And if you haven't already, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.